The late great Kobe Bean Bryant is one of the top 10 players in basketball history. It's a shame we lost him too early, because he transferred the same maniacal work ethic from basketball into various other projects, and has far transcended the notion of shut up and dribble. But this is not a sad video, it's a celebratory one. We'll take a look at Kobe at his best, and pick his best performance ever, with some honorable mentions, and also his worst, because even a basketball god like him made mistakes. Best game ever. 81 points against the Raptors. Jalen Rose had the best seat in the house when Kobe scored 81 points against the Raptors. Poor Mr. Rose had the task to guard the guy, and he described it best. Kobe never thumped his chest, he never trash-talked. It was all pure focus and thinking about the next possession. If you don't know what getting in the zone looks like, go watch the full game of Kobe's 81 points. It's a prime example of someone having almost an out-of-body experience. Someone so dominant over other people and so embedded in their work. This game was the essence of Kobe Bryant as a basketball player. Extremely dedicated, skilled beyond measure, enjoying every second of the game, and not noticing anything else but the game. Hitting an array of difficult shots and leaving the arena with a win. Yes, the Raptors should have doubled it. Yes, it was a regular season game against a poor defensive team. But for all of us who were too young to watch Wilt Chamberlain, this was the best scoring output that we have ever witnessed, and something we all dreamed about when we were kids. After an excellent, yet not so unusual first half, where he scored 26 points, the Lakers were down by 14. In the second half, Kobe put a complete smackdown on Toronto, and led LA to victory with 55 more points, which seemed unreal. Final stat line looked like somebody had made a mistake. 81 points, 28 of 46 shooting, 7 of 13 from 3, along with 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Kobe Bryant had a divine performance that night against the Raptors, which is appropriate, because he is a basketball deity after all. Honorable mention, 62 points in 3 quarters against the Mavs. In 2005, Shaq left the team, and other than Kobe, the Lakers were mediocre at best. Bryant had to do a lot by himself, and showed the entire league what happens when you give an assassin like him the green light to score the ball, as much as he possibly can. Against the Mavs, who went to the finals that year, Kobe went berserk. He finished with 62 points, with 8 rebounds and 3 steals, on 18 of 31 shooting from the field, and 22 of 25 from the free throw line. After 3 quarters, the whole Mavs team scored 61, and Kobe had 62. Everybody was mad at Phil Jackson for sitting Kobe in the fourth, because he probably would have exceeded 80 points even then. Honorable mention, final game of his career. Kobe's last years in the NBA were derailed by injuries, and by the end, we could all see that it wasn't the same Kobe we all knew and loved for 20 years. Kobe was beat up and admitted that sometimes it was physically hard for him just to get to the car after games. In his last season, he averaged 17 points per game on 35% shooting, well below his career numbers. His last career game was a celebration of a great career, and the Staples Center was filled with celebrities and former players who all wanted to see a master at work for the final time. And oh boy, did they have something to see. Kobe scored 60 points on 22 of 50 shooting, and he made all the big shots in the clutch. And he did so against a Jazz team who was fighting to make the playoffs. At the age of 38, all his body was giving out on him. He shot the last shots without any lift in his legs, simply because he didn't have any left. Kobe really gave basketball everything he had, and in his final game, it was more apparent than ever. Worst career game. Game 5, 2000 NBA Finals against Indiana. Jalen Rose is one of the main characters in Kobe's worst game as well. In Game 2 of the Finals, the current ESPN analyst slid his foot under Kobe Bryant, hoping that Kobe would land on it and not be able to play in the series. It was not a basketball play, and Jalen later admitted that he indeed wanted to hurt Kobe. He is from Detroit after all, and grew up watching Bad Boys and Bill Laimbeer, who made his living from dirty plays like this. Zaza Pachulia probably watched Laimbeer as well. Kobe didn't play in Game 3, but he came through in the clutch of Game 4, winning the game in overtime without Shaq, who fouled out. However, in Game 5, Kobe was the polar opposite. He had one of the worst playoff games of his career and ended with 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 fouls, and with a horrible 4 of 20 shooting. Rose and Reggie Miller combined for 57 points, and the Pacers blew the Lakers out, winning the game by 33 points. Honorable mention, November 14th, 2014. versus the San Antonio Spurs. This game against the Spurs will be remembered as the worst shooting game of Bryant's career. After he injured his Achilles in 2013, Kobe was never the same player again. This was evident early in the season against the Spurs next year, when he finished the game with 9 points, 4 turnovers, on 1 of 14 shooting. It was surreal to see that Kobe had made only 1 field goal in a game, but it was a reality. He was 36 at the time, coming off a major injury, and he was guarded by Kawhi Leonard, which certainly didn't help. So we'll cut him some slack on that. But still, 1 for 14 shooting is pretty bad, however you look at it. Honorable mention: March 31st, 2012, versus the New Orleans Hornets. In 2012 against New Orleans, who were called the Hornets back then, still very athletic Kobe had one of the worst shooting nights of his career. He couldn't buy a bucket all night and clanked many jumpers on his way to a 3 from 21 shooting. However, when it mattered the most, he sunk a game-winning three-pointer with 20 seconds left in the game, after he missed all 7 three-pointers he took prior to that. And that was the crux of Kobe's career. He might miss 10 shots in a row, but he always had a mentality that the next one is going in, and just keep on shooting.